In this video, we're going to take a look at adjusting wall heights in Revit. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a few walls here. Let's get rid of that guy. There we go. Um, so with our wall command, we do have different options for how we draw walls. So this first one is just a basic line. It does always put you in the command to draw a chain of walls. If you don't want that, you can unclick that up here and you can just draw a single wall and we'll end the command. You'll have to draw them on your own from there. So that's what that chain command is doing. You can also do an offset. So if I wanted to draw a wall 2 feet from another wall, I can use that offset command to do so. I'm going to keep that at 0 for now, though. You also have the option to just draw, rectangle that way as opposed to the chain command. Some different shapes here. This is just a one click to start and a second click to end. You also can do arcs here. One click to start, second click is the end point of the arc, and then the third click is the radius of the arc. So some various options up here. You can also do an ellipse. One click for the first angle, and then a second click for the other one. So just some options for those, but let's take a look at adjusting some wall heights. So by default, all the walls come in unconnected 20 feet. So that's going to be, take a look at one of our exterior elevations here. You can see that the levels by default are set at 0 and at 10. So instead of having all these walls going to be at 20 feet, I like to, when I start a project and start drawing, to adjust the wall height before I even start drawing. So instead of leaving it unconnected 20 feet, I'm going to switch it to level 2. And that automatically goes to 10 feet. And that's grayed out because it's now going to be connected to the level. So I'm going to show you what that means here. Let's go ahead and draw a few walls with this. All right, so now if I take a look at this view here, you'll see that I have these shorter walls here in the front. And you can always change the height of your wall after the fact. So I'm going to go back to my level 1 and I'm going to grab one of these walls here. And I'm actually going to select them all. There's a couple different ways I can do that. I could use a crossing box going right to left, or I can click on this. And if I right click, I'm going to say select all instances visible in view. That's going to select all of my walls that are of this type. All right, so it's selecting all of the types. So that's my generic 8-inch. If these walls here, let's put those, switch them to generic 5-inch. Now, if I right click, select all instances visible in view, now you'll see it only selects those items here. So that's a really handy tool to be able to select stuff, but it is by type, by instance type. So, okay, now that I have all of those walls selected, I'm going to go ahead and switch them to level 2 instead of unconnected. So if you do start a project and forget to do it right away, it's no problem. You can always go back and adjust that. Now I'm going to take a look at that elevation, one of my elevation views again, and you can see that all the walls are now at 10 feet. So one of the main reasons that we want to do this is because if this level height changes, so this is going to be your floor to floor for the building, right? So if that changes, let's say that goes to 12 feet, you'll notice that all the walls adjust with it, which is really handy. So I'm going to go ahead and create another level. So to do that, I'm going to be on my architecture tab. I'm going to go to level here. So if we have a 2-story building, I'm going to start over on the left-hand side because I know that the level datum is going to be the second click. So I want those to be lined up. So I'm going to move that over. I did do it so it's 12 and 12 so that these are the same height. That would be dependent on your building if they are or not. But also if you draw it at a different, incorrect height, you can of course come in here and change that. So you don't need to be super worried about getting it on the right dimension when you place it, but we do want to draw it all the way across. You'll notice that when I did that, it automatically created a level 3 floor plan and ceiling plan for us. So if I were to create a level, you can also create a level by copying this. I'm going to copy that up. I just used a shortcut CC there for the copy commands. That might be, okay, the default one is CO for that shortcut. I'll talk about personalizing keyboard shortcuts in another video. But if I copy that shortcut up, you'll notice that that level datum is black. and that it did not create views over here in my project browser. So if you use the level command, it will create the views for you. If you just copy the level, it does not create views. So sometimes you don't need those views associated to it. If you do copy it, you can always create those views again, or create those views from the view tab and then from the plan views, and you could go to floor plan, and it's going to give me the option. It's going to list what other levels here do not have a floor plan associated with it. So I could go ahead and create a floor plan for that. So if you end up copying it up and you decide that you want a view later on, you can do that. And you would do the same thing for a ceiling plan. You would just click on reflected ceiling plan here. And there you go. Okay, so now I have multiple levels, so we can start to adjust some of these. So let's go ahead and we can do this. Let's go ahead and select this gun here. Also, another way to select a chain of walls is to hover over one of the walls and hit tab. All right, so it's a hover. I'm not clicking anything right now. I hit tab once and then I click, and that will select a chain. So that's going to be a chain of walls. So, okay, you can also do a crossing box over this to select. I'm going to go ahead and adjust this one up to level 4. All right, and let's go ahead and adjust this one up to level 3. And maybe this chain, maybe these guys right here, just this part goes up to level 3. All right, so if I take a look at this in 3D, all right, I'll start to see, and you can see the levels in 3D. You can also hide those if you don't want to see them. So I can just crossing box, right click, and I can hide in view. All right, but now I have various levels here. So if one of these levels changes, of course, if this is going up, let's put this at 40 feet, those walls automatically adjust with it. Okay, so you do also have the ability to do an offset from a level. So let's say I have a portion of one of these items. Maybe I have a doorway, an opening, not a doorway, because we would use a door for that. But let's say I have an opening in this wall. We'll do it on the outside so we can see it clearly in 3D. But I have an opening in this wall. This is 12 foot. Let's say I have an 8-foot high opening for a portion of this wall. So the first thing I want to do, since this is all one wall right now, is I want to split it. So using our split element command, I'm going to come in here and do 2 clicks to split the wall. All right, so I now have 3 walls here. All right, now let's take a look in 3D. So if I now adjust this middle wall here, over here on my properties, I have a base constraint of level 1, and I have that top constraint set to level 2. So if I now adjust this, let's see, I said 8 foot. So if I have an 8-foot high opening, I can adjust that base level and adjust that wall so that it's now 8 foot from level 1. Okay, so you can do that with any of the walls. You can also use the split element command in 3D. So maybe I have another portion here. And then I can also do it from the level above. So if I put a -2 here, all right, that would drop it down from there. Okay, maybe this one's okay. So you start to get the idea here of the constraints and the adjustments that you can make. And then also, just to note, if that level 2 changes again, this offset of the -2 feet will also adjust. All right, so everything is linked to that level. All right, that's how you adjust our wall heights in Revit.